Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. So we're going to have a couple things. We're going to talk about some good stuff today. I think Joella has a really good message. And if there's ever a time in life that we need more kindness, it's now. I mean, I watched a guy lose his temper yesterday driving down the street, and I thought, what's wrong with this world? It was just out crazy. So anyway, so we're glad you're here, and hopefully you're having a very good week, and we're excited about being here. And when Joella talked about kindness, let's see, what do we got here? Okay, we're going to have Joella step up and do our land acknowledgement. That's important.
So this is part of our land acknowledgement. It's part of the land back movement. And we want to acknowledge the land that we're on right now, the land that used to belong to the Ute, the Cheyenne, and the Arapaho. And just acknowledge that there were people here before us and that their lives were important, and that their legacies are important, and that we should pay more attention to the opportunities that we have to acknowledge that we weren't the kindest, that we were kind of asses to people. In our quest to take over the land that surrounds us, we took away lives and livelihoods, and there was a lot of death and disease that followed by what we did to them, and it's time that we start giving back. I'm going to go ahead and light the Yule candle, or the green candle that we started in Yule. And then to go ahead and invite our ancestors in to join us for this message today. And also our love candle.
I want to just kind of start with a prayer. We've had so much that has gone on, and in our world, another mass shooting was it yesterday, another one, and then the one in Tulsa, and then before Uvalde, and then Baltimore, and then Brooklyn or New York. Oh my God. I don't even know how we as a faith community can say anything. I listen to it, and I'm driving down the road, and I just sit and wonder, when will this violence end? And there's not enough news reports to change our thinking and our feeling, and there's not enough answers. But the one thing that came to me I looked this up when you posted the title of your message, I thought, and I thought about kindness, and a quote that I read that I just wanted to kind of bounce off in prayer in opening states this by Joseph Joubert. A part of kindness consists in loving people more than they deserve. And there's so much anger and violence and volatility in this world, and certainly we feel justified in our anger and our arguments, but part of kindness is learning how to love the unlovable. Love those who they just can't love you back. It's not in their character. There are people that are like that. And as I was listening to a story yesterday of a young man who came out to his family, and literally he came out, and they were a kind of a conservative Christian family, and they rejected him. So much so to the point where they emptied out his bedroom when he turned 18 and went off to college. They emptied out his bedroom, the bed, the furniture, papers, pictures, everything, and set it on fire in their front yard. And there was never a reconciliation. At one time, he even went to see his mother at her work and said to the person at the front desk, "Hey, I'm here to see such and such. Tell her it's a surprise visitor." And so he was so excited to see his mother. He had graduated from college already and was in a career. And his mom came out, and as she was coming down the hallway, she looked up and saw him and turned around and walked away. And she actually passed away, and there was never a reconciliation. They rejected their very own son. If there's ever, and he continued to extend to her kindness, even to the very end of her life. And there was never a reconciliation. Somebody even said that the bonfire from lighting all of his personal effects at home was so big, they were really concerned about this old maple tree that was in their front yard that their grandfather had planted years and years ago, and they were really wanted to make sure nothing happened to it. And it's almost justified. Sparks went off and set the fire on tree and burned it down. And so, but he continued to love them and express kindness, even though they didn't deserve that. And I thought, how many people can say that? Let us pray. Eternal One, we live in a very unkind, unforgiving, angry world right now. We're so numb to the power of unkind words, and we've learned to live with that and accept that as just the norm. And I pray that you would speak to our hearts and our minds and teach us what it means to express kindness, even to those who dispense hate, anger, bitterness, fear, even to those who we feel don't deserve it. Teach us to be instruments of kindness. We pray in all of your holy names. Amen. So, Joella, it's your turn. I just want to tell you, I haven't had a chance to really tell you, but how much I appreciate your heart, and to bring you into this and move you into this. There's something special about the words that you bring. So thank you. And I just can't tell you how much I'm watching you grow as a minister daily. So the pulpit's yours.
Thank you for that, Rev Sam. That means a lot, because it means that you're recognizing the work that I have worked on myself with for so long. that I've done so much work on my inner self that it's coming out and showing outwardly, and that means a lot. I have a reading by Carly Dugmore that I want to read, and then I'll get into the main message. This is called the Kindness Poem. It says, "It doesn't matter where you go or who you meet along the way. Carry kindness in your heart and practice it each day. A simple smile can change the course of someone else's week. The smallest gesture represents the gift of joy we seek. A gentle touch reminds us that humanity still reigns. To pet a lonely cat or dog, show that love will never wane. There are a million obstacles on any given day, but rise above the hate and fear and live life the kindness way." And that kind of leads into the message that I want to give today. And it's not so much about kindness to the collective, although it does end up there. This is about the kindness and the compassion that you show yourself. I've been struggling a lot lately, waking up every morning. Before I can even get up out of bed, my mind is just a spiral of all of the negativity that surrounds me. From the moment I open my eyes, stressful thoughts plague me, thoughts about what's going on in the world, the stresses that my kids are facing and will continue to face, the things that are weighing on my partner's shoulders, on my friend's shoulders, and just how desperate things feel in the world around me. Lately it's been a lot of, the horrific situations with the shootings that have gone on. And I did just a little bit of research before writing this. And according to gunviolencearchive.org, there have been 27 mass shootings just since Uvalde. This is really devastating to see that this is what our life has become. When I start to spiral into the space of self-loathing, something usually brings me back to the present and to a place where I feel thankful for the life that I lead and the places I've been and where I've come from and how I've grown as a person. And as a result of that, the people that I have in my life who are supportive, the people who mentor me and help me grow, the people who have my back, the people who, if I'm having the worst day ever, will open up their arms and embrace and hold me there until I cry it out and process everything that's weighing on my mind. I have children that are really thoughtful and compassionate, and they ask if I'm okay, and they'll sit with me until something comes up that has us all belly laughing so hard that we're crying tears of joy instead of tears of pain. I think of little baby Easton, whose smile can instantly melt my heart. But then I also think that not everybody has the resources that I do. Not everybody has the opportunity to grow and take the events that have occurred in their lives and turn them into lessons and teaching moments that they can then turn around and give as an offer of good to their communities. Not everybody has had the lessons that I've had, and we're able to figure out that it is okay to cry. It is okay to feel your feelings. It's okay to peel back the layers and see where they're coming from and how you can work with them. So this kind of leads me to this expression that I want to lean into called radical self-compassion. And this is what I taught myself to feel before I knew that there was an actual concept. Yesterday, I taught a workshop on healing the rejection wound.
The rejection wound is a wound that comes up and it lives in your body as a result of something that your initial caregivers felt or said, or like a rush of hormones that made it feel like you were unwanted when you were in utero. Babies can hear what's going on around them, in the world around them when they are in the uterus, when the mother is still pregnant. They can hear the thoughts that are expressed. And if there are thoughts that are expressed that are so negative or so regretful, that actually turns into a wound that child will live with for the rest of their lives. And whether or not they figure out that it's there and how to work with it, or whether they go on the rest of their lives just feeling that deep, intense pain, that's up to that person to discover that, or the world around them to help them figure it out. But once you do figure that out, or once you do realize that the lessons, or the events that you've gone through in your life are not necessarily a result of something that you've done, there's this opportunity of self-compassion where you can say to yourself, this is not a result of what I've done. It's a result of what's been done to me, but I have every chance to change my life. I can love myself the way that I have not been loved by others. I can show the amount of empathy to myself that has not been received from those that surround me, that are supposed to care for me. According to philosopher Ken Lampert, radical compassion is a special kind of empathy directed toward the distress. Radical compassion is empathy directed toward the distress of others. It's called radical because it includes the inner imperative to change reality in order to alleviate the pain of others. This state of mind is universal, and it stands at the root of the historical cry for social change. So what happens when you turn that around and you take it and make it into radical self-compassion? It means that you take that same compassion that you would feel towards somebody else and you apply it to yourself, so that you are now pouring from a full cup and you can give more compassion to the next person. And then that creates a ripple effect that starts to bring about the change in the world that we all want and desire. Dr. Kristen Neff says that self-compassion is a practice of goodwill, not good feelings. With self-compassion, we mindfully accept that the moment is painful and embrace ourselves with kindness and care in response, remembering that imperfection is part of the shared human experience. If I mess up, if I make the grandest of mistakes, if I beat myself up for that, I'm not doing myself any good. I'm not doing the people around me any good. I'm just knocking myself down further so that mistakes continue to perpetuate. But if I take that same mistake and I look at it and say, you know what? I made a mistake today. Tomorrow is going to be better. And I've learned from this, so I know how to accept myself and make a better effort tomorrow. I come at it tomorrow with a different mindset. And with that mindset, I'm able to teach somebody else how to not make the same mistake, or how to learn from that mistake. And then in that, we teach our children, we teach our friends, we teach our lovers, we teach our mentors, we teach our teachers how to pass that forward. There are 3 ways that I found to practice radical self-compassion. 1, if you're having a really bad day and nobody is around to support you or care for you, just showing yourself like compassionate touch, just putting your hand over your heart and saying, this is okay. I'm going to be okay. And feeling the weight of your hand on your heart allows your nervous system to calm down just even the littlest of bits in order for you to make a plan for the next action. Some other ways are just like cradling your face in your hands. I will often do this. I'll just sit here like this if I'm feeling stressed out. Cross your arms and give yourself a hug. Or you can place one hand on your heart and a hand on your abdomen to really just feel the energy in the space of your trunk to try to calm yourself down. There's another thing. There's an acronym called RAIN. RAIN stands for recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. You can recognize what's going on in your body, the anxious thought, the feelings, the tension. You can allow that to happen without judgment. You don't have to like how you're feeling, but try to allow it to be there without judging it or thinking of yourself as less than. And also try to feel it without the intention to fix it. You can investigate. Where is this feeling coming from? Why am I feeling this need to beat myself up over something that other people may see as just a silly little mistake? And then nurture the anxious parts of you. Speak to your anxious self. Remind them that they are okay, that they are safe, and that they are loved. Give yourself the comfort that you need. And another practice that I found is write yourself a letter from the context of, write a letter to an imaginary person, that imaginary person being yourself, from the context of what you would tell a friend. If a friend were to make that mistake, or a friend were feeling just horrible, write them a letter. Tell them, hey, this is not that big of a deal. Help them, guide them or yourself through this. There is a Bible passage from Proverbs 12:25 that says, anxiety in a man's heart weighs him down, but a good word makes him glad. The good news on this is that it costs nothing to speak kind words to others and to ourselves. Sometimes it's the good words, the good thoughts that we can think about ourselves that allows for us to go out and push forward in the day and to pass that along to the next person who may be sitting there in that self-loathing place, thinking that they are worthless. But if you smile at them and tell them, hey, it's a good day to be here, and I'm glad you are part of this day, that may be the change that they need in their day to move forward and pay that forward to the next person. The 27 mass shootings that this country has experienced just since Uvalde are perfect indications of the work that we all need to be doing, the work that we all need to step up to do, that we need to find more time to slow down, to show compassion for ourselves, show compassion to each other, to live in those moments of smiles and laughter and thankfulness and gratitude. Finding ways to practice radical self-compassion. I call it radical because it's not common. Not many people know that the first words of kindness start with the words that you speak to yourself. But finding these ways to practice radical self-compassion and mindfulness when our worlds are crumbling around us and the world that we know it needs it most It allows for us to show up to help heal and release the painful beliefs and emotions that keep us from living true to ourselves. That's what I've got for today.
It's kind of like officiating a wedding in a trailer park. Do it out of the kindness of your heart. It's a little personal joke. So we always reach for one of the most important things is learning how to love others and love the unlovable. And sometimes the most unlovable person is us because we're in so much pain. And I don't think I would do that because I would fall asleep. But it's learning how to love ourselves because we can be very cruel to our own selves and our own personal health. And so I guess, Jesus said, love God. And every ancient Jew has said the same Shema prayer. Love God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. And love your neighbor as you love yourself. And I think the problem is in this world, we don't love our neighbors too well either. So we're probably extending the same amount of love to ourselves that we are to our neighbors, which is none. And I think that's the challenge that you gave us, is to learn how to love ourselves. How to love ourselves. I've read some stuff here about learning how to forgive yourself. And I think, I understand that, but just learning how to love yourself. What those parents did to that young man that I told about, we do to ourselves sometimes. We burn our own lives down to the ground. Yeah. And we spend a lifetime turning our back on ourselves, just like that mother did to her son. Learning how to express goodness and kindness is because of a work that is going on inside of us. And it's never ending. There's a renewal that happens in our hearts and our spirit. And it's just my prayer that we would find a way to live that out. So let's extend our hands, as we always do here. Help me to live your goodness and kindness each day. Remind me that my actions express who I am, how I feel about myself. My actions express my hurts and my pain, even more than my own words. May I love others as you love me. And let me be good to those who wish me harm. Teach me how to be good to even myself. For those who cry out forgiveness, grant them forgiveness. For those who cry out for kindness, may they experience kindness today. May each one of us experience unconditional love that will set our hearts on fire, passionate fire. Teach us how to love more. Amen. We are going to share communion together, you and I. So we'll do that. Just to remind us of what this is about. And so, this is bread, body. It reminds us of who we are, and I'll go back to my expression. It reminds us that we are human because at the very basic core of us is our humanity. Simple bread, just bread. It's such a simple thing. I guess I've never made bread. I guess it's simple.
It can be.
It can be. And so, but this reminds us of our body, his body, our community together.
And this is the blood. This reminds us of the love that flows through each of us, that brings us to community.
We love communion here because for some of us, like me, it's the opportunity to eat bread. But it reminds us of so much. It reminds us of being together and being with each other. So I want to thank Joella for her word this morning, for sharing with us her passion and her heart and kind words that take us one step closer. So I would encourage you to watch this video, share the video, apply it to your heart. If you need us, it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube. You can reach out to us and message us, and we will definitely respond to all of our LGBTQ brothers and sisters and siblings. You can't see it, but we have our pride flag up. I was going to try to put it up, but it's way too high. And so, but we are excited about this time of the year. And so just want you to know that you are loved and you are cared for. And this is a safe place. It's a safe place. So.
And with that, I'm going to go ahead and blow the candles forward with the seeds of intention that we set today, and hope that we can manifest the love within ourselves that we would like to carry forward and share with others.